This is the Sunday edition of the 217 Recovery Podcast. Tonight's episode was carefully selected by Marney.
Could be little, could be big. But going back out is not the answer.
Sit back, relax, or do whatever it is you do, and enjoy Marney's Sunday night replay.
It might be childish, sure, but that's kind of what drugs do, you know.
Oh, check, 1, 2.
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
I got this abnormal psychology exam to do. I think there's something in there that's going to help me with this time travel.
Well, if you go back to 1985, please take me.
85?
I kind of want to go see Michael J. Fox.
Don't we all? I want to go see Michael J. Fox right now. It is the 12th of May, 2020. And back in 2015, my nephews were born. Aww.
Sexual relationship.
Yeah, so big shout out to them and to my sister. Twin boys. Good job. So today, welcome to the 217 Recovery Podcast. My name is Corey Winfield. And joining me today in the studio is Marney. Marney, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Some things not working out as I wanted to tonight, but, you know, you get over it and you move on. It's happening how it's supposed to.
Right.
You know, you're a little frustrated.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's fine. You know, you got some of the things that you wanted accomplished, and you got to kind of take the good with the bad on that. And a good day in recovery so far, though?
Absolutely. Everything's been going good today.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Started
good.
my day off with a Zoom meeting in Ireland.
Oh, how'd that go?
It was great. I would imitate their accent, which is beautiful, I think, but I can't do it very well.
Well, they can't say the word think.
Yeah, they say tink.
Tink. I think it.
I tink. Yeah,
they're a little weird over there. And, of course, you can go to 217recovery.com and then go to online meetings, and you can find these meetings that Marney is talking about, the meetings in Ireland.
Actually, that is exactly how I got there. Yes,
you know.
I did.
How'd your South Africa meeting go? Because you told me, you're like, because you've been talking about this for like a month.
Well, the day is not over yet, Corey, is it?
Oh, well, no.
Well, probably in South Africa, meetings might be. You do have to do the math on that, folks. You have to figure out what the time difference. So I ended up going to a lunch meeting, which was really cool. It was kind of neat. It was 8 o'clock here. It was 1 o'clock there. And so people were on their lunch break and stuff, you know. But there were some people there that were tuning in from Florida, Montana. But majority of the people were from Ireland, different spots in Ireland. Maybe like 20, 25 people, I would say.
It's a lot.
Joined the meeting, yeah.
Were they talking about the COVID?
Actually, no, that wasn't brought up, believe it or not. They didn't touch on that at all, which I was surprised. But, yeah, they were talking about staying sober. So lots of things I heard just in a different accent.
I know that's the weirdest thing is when they're telling your story or something that you've gone through or something that you've experienced, and you're just like, wait a minute, you're in a different country, you've grown up totally different, but yet you had the same problem and the same things happened to you with alcohol that happened to me. It's kind of not refreshing, but it's, you know, like, I don't know. We get the same kind of thing here, too, when we just go to meetings, you know, to realize that we're not the only ones to ever go through this, and we're not bad people, and it's just reassuring to know that we're not, like, because in our deepest, darkest moments, you know, in a relapse, or I just think I am the only person that's ever gone through this, and I'm the worst person that's ever lived and walked on this earth, you know, and that's not true, you know, but it's hard. It's real hard when you're going through that. And a buddy of mine, I don't know if you heard the podcast the other day, his sister reached out to me, and I still haven't heard from him. He apparently lost his phone. I bet you he could find it if he wanted to get what he's looking for, you know, and I guess it's not his true fault because he is in active addiction. You know as well as I do, Marney, that's not the real us. That's, and people would always tell me, oh, I don't like this Corey. I want the real Corey back.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, that's not my friend. That's not the real him. The real him, I think, really does want help. But the only thing he knows how to do right now is just keep digging deeper. But, and not that I can help him. I can give him a phone number, a place he can call. And not everybody needs to go to treatment either. A lot of people think, well, I don't have to go to rehab. If I call somebody, they're going to make me go to rehab. It's not how it works. It is nice to go to rehab. It is a nice break, and you get to stop and focus on yourself. And that's what I think is very important about rehabs. And they do work, but you have to be ready. And if you're thrown in a rehab and you're going there kicking and screaming, good luck. You'll probably be back. And you might as well face it and face it head on and make the most of the situation. But it's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing I'd like to share about that or say on that note is that it's important to know that these people that reach out to us or to other people that reach out to you, if you're one of those people, that to make it clear that, have these people call you no matter what. I mean, the good, the bad, the ugly, because that's what we're there for. If we only ever would listen to them when things were going good, then we're not good sponsors. Don't be afraid if things aren't going the way that you want them to, or you don't have a stunning report to talk about. That's okay. Just to hear that you're alive and that you're still kicking and you're still working best you can for today. Lots of times that's all we need to hear. And that to know that you're still, the effort's still there. And I don't know, that's just something, because I feel like when I just get left in the dark, like when I'm hoping that people will call, that it's okay if they call, even if they've been drinking. I would rather have them call me than not call. I mean, I'd rather them call me drinking than, not call at all. So that's
like just to say what's up.
Yeah, just to say,
Marney,
hey, it's hard. This is harder than I thought.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
I'm not doing good. I mean, that's what we're here for. If I don't know, if it's like, and I know what they're thinking because I've done the same thing. Like, I'm not going to call until I'm back on track. Well, maybe it's the way to get back on track. Maybe they need to hear that other person's voice, hear what they have to say, and the encouragement and the acceptance. You know what I mean? To not feel like I'm just a loser. I'm just, I can't do it. Today wasn't your day or whatever, but that, it doesn't have to be that way tomorrow.
Yeah, I kind of worry about Jamie that way too. And he always says, well, call me out. And he wants to have the brutally honest, meetings and podcasts. I think he should do a Zoom. I think I should make him do Zoom meetings first. Mm-hmm. And he can be the one that starts up the 217 recovery Zoom meetings. And, he can reach out to military people. And if he gets the Zoom meetings going on a regular basis, then maybe I'll give him a podcast. He's supposed to have a microphone. I don't know. He can use those for Zoom meetings too. Mm-hmm. But, he doesn't call me very often. And I kind of wonder in the back of my mind, is he doing that to wait till he gets sober enough, which mm-hmm. means, wait till he runs out of money, or, wait till he has a couple days to dry out, and then, he'll give old Corey a call and everything's just peachy. Yeah. I don't know. And it's not my job to think about it either. As harsh as that kind of may sound, I'm not the world's best sponsor, I guess, but it's not my job. Like if he comes to me and he wants to talk, I'm here to listen. Mm-hmm. And I can offer him advice that he asks for in the way that I handled the situation when I went through pretty much probably the same thing that he's going through. So, right. I mean, that's all I can really do for him. I'm not going to be brutally honest. I'm not going to yell at him. That doesn't make any sense, but mm-hmm. he's not sleeping on my couch, so I don't really care. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do care, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not living here or living with me, because I've heard some sponsors will let their sponsees, stay with them because, their life will get so bad and they'll get out of control and they'll have nowhere to live. And I don't know if that'll ever happen.
Right. No.
You're like, no, it won't, Corey.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I see. Yeah, it's a tough situation, but it's also an easy situation. I mean, for the people that are struggling to pick up that phone, like they say, sometimes it's way too heavy, and they just can't do it because who wants to call and report that they're not doing stellar, that they're not they didn't hit a meeting, and that alcohol got the best of them, or drugs got the best of them. That's a tough phone call to make.
Yeah, or they're feeling frustrated and they don't know what to do about it.
Yeah,
right. They feel lonely, and
we don't necessarily always have the answer, and it's not like we don't. The answer is with them, but to hear encouragement and support, that's what it's about. That's what sponsorship is about. Because this is not all rainbows and butterflies and kitty cats and lollipops. It's tough stuff, and it's a journey, and some days are harder than others.
For sure. So, on a lighter note, not sure if you read my blog.
I did.
You did?
I did. I always read your blog.
Oh, you're like my number one fan. Or my only fan. You and my mom. Uh-oh. Competition, mother. Competition. But, no, like yesterday, it was insane because I was waiting on some candles. And these candles are pretty badass. I got them from Amazon, and then they came in a set of 3, and one of them didn't work. The tall one did not work. So I had to wait for the replacements, and the replacements were going to come yesterday. And I ordered some darker candles, which I kind of like a little bit better.
Yeah, me too.
And those were going to be for my office because I noticed you liked the first ones. And so you wanted to keep those either in the bedroom or the living room. And I'm like, all right, fine. So when the replacement comes, we'll get those. Well, anyway, both sets were coming yesterday. And I got the replacement set early in the day because that was from UPS. And then the other said it was coming, and it was going to be delivered by the mailman. Props to the mail people out there. But it was not here, and it wasn't here, and it was 5 o'clock, it was 6 o'clock, it was 7 o'clock, and...
Suspense.
Yeah, finally... you wanted milk, so I went to go get milk, and I figured I'd hit the mail on the way, and there were lots of people flocking to the mailbox, and so I go, and I get this letter. I got a couple letters. I got one from Kevin in St. Louis. Kevin, what's up? Still listening, and we appreciate that. And, Kevin made a little monetary donation to 217 Recovery, and we appreciate that. And I also got a letter from the IRS.
Which most people would say that line and be like, dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
Who wants to get a letter from the IRS? Guess what? You do.
Well, it wasn't just the IRS either. It was what is the division called? The tax exempt division or something?
Yeah, I can't remember that.
So when I saw the letter, like my booty hole puckered a little. I was like, whoo.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is the letter we've been waiting for. And if you're just tuning in, this is your first time listening, 217 Recovery, we are a charitable organization, and we've registered with Michigan as a nonprofit organization. They recognize us, but it really doesn't matter unless the big bad IRS does. So there's a thing called the 501c3, which allows you to take donations. Like we could take cars, phones, whatever. Anybody would like to donate, and if they donate over $250, we write them a receipt, and they get to start adding that onto their taxes as tax deductible. So it really is going to help us big time when we, reach out for money. Say, hey, like the transportation. We found out that it costs $10,000 to $15,000 to put insurance on a car for a year. Well, I don't have $10,000 to $15,000 laying around my bank account, but with donations, with different things that we can do, fundraising events, and we have so much stuff planned. But with that money, we can do so much for the recovery community. Yeah. And I had to do this whole application. It was like 150,000 pages long. And I've been working on it probably for about a year. I think I started a year ago, and then I realized, oh, crap, I got to do this. There's a lot of stuff you got to line up. And for someone like me to just do it by themselves and put it all together, I knew not to rush it. There's 2 different ways you can apply for the 501c3. And sorry if I'm boring you. I'm just trying to give the background. So just if this is boring you, you can always skip forward. This is a podcast, by the way. But you can go the easy route and only pay like $400, or maybe it's $300. I don't know. But you can only receive up to like $10,000 in donations for the year. And with the plans that I have and the vision I have for 217 recovery, and that's just not going to cut it. So, I wanted to go the long route, and there's a lot more documents you have to do and a lot more background they're going to do on you and dig in. And there's nothing that we have to hide. So I wasn't afraid of that, but it just costs more money and it's a lot more paperwork. So I wanted to take my time. I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to just rush and jump with the little quick one and then, you can always go back and do it later. I'm like, no, just take my time, make sure I have everything. And we went and saw a lawyer in Boyne City. I want to say his name's McCleaver, but I don't think that's right. It might be right. So if it is, hey man, thanks. Mm-hmm. But went and saw him twice. Ryan went with me down there. And, the first time he just laughed at us and said, what are you trying to do here? What is this? His school report? And I was like, no, we're going to give that to the government. And he just laughed. No, you're not. So he gave us some pointers and showed us kind of what we needed to do. And then we went back again and he's like, oh man, your stuff's all over the place. And I'm like, I know, that's how I work. So big thanks to him for the little advice that he did give. And I went through and just put it all together, and they came back and I got the letter, which they said would be getting in June if I did everything, which didn't make any sense to me. They got a letter on St. Patrick's Day, and it said, we've got your money and we've cashed it. Now we're going to start looking through your stuff. We'll let you know in 90 days if you're approved, 180 days if you're not. Which really confused me. As well, I'll probably know then if I don't hear from you in 90 days that I'm not approved. But thanks for making me wait to 180. So I was really kind of confused about that. But then when I got the letter yesterday, I thought, oh my God. And just the other day, I was looking for my mom's business to see, because I was going to maybe make her a logo for the company or something. And I couldn't find her business on there. I found my grandfather's old business. And then I thought, I'm going to search for 217 Recovery to see if, we're in there as a charitable organization yet. And I remember the website saying that things have been delayed online and, March and April, they're behind or something. Okay, so I put in 217 Recovery and we didn't pop up. And I put in our EIN number, and that's like a social security number for businesses. We didn't pop up as a charity. So I'm like, man. So now I get this letter. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like this, it's early. That's a good sign. But then I'm thinking, wait a minute. I just looked and we weren't. So I was kind of torn, and I sat out in my car for a minute and I was just thinking, like, what is this going to do? And what is it going to say? And, should I call or text our friend Lisa before I open this? And I'm like, no, I gotta just take it in. I'll show Marney and we'll open it together. And I opened it, and then it was just such a relief. And it was a great feeling to know that we've been approved and we are officially a public charity and we are tax exempt and we can take donations now and move forward with what we want to do. And the people that we're going to help, they might be listening now, they might not, but we're going to help a lot of people. Yeah. And that's something that that's the purpose that I was looking for when I was in jail. And I prayed to God to let that be the last drink that I ever have, and to actually show me what my purpose is and to let me help people. I mean, this is what he was talking. This is what he had for me, and I had to work for it, and I don't mind it. And it's but I didn't feel complete. I didn't feel like, yay, game's over. I just felt like, okay, that's cool.
What's next?
Yeah, now what? And I couldn't have done without God, that's for sure. And the fact that it was like approved right off the bat, I thought there's 60% chance it might be, but probably not. And I tried to block that out because I don't like to think negative, and I don't like to start thinking about stuff that's not even happened yet to just worry myself more. And that's something that I've had to kind of learn to do. And it's it's hard. It's hard to do sometimes, but yeah, so we're approved, and that was awesome. And then Kevin sent me the letter, and he said very nice things about 217 recovery and the podcast. And, you know, I appreciate Kevin, and, you know, he's down there in St. Louis, Missouri, but he's sharing, you know, 217 recovery and the podcast with his people in recovery. And that's very cool. And without that, we wouldn't grow. And even if you're like, yeah, your podcast's all right, man, you never know who you're going to help with it. You know, some episodes are better than others. You know, I'll say that every time. But, you know, just share us. You know, that's all we ask for you. You know, you don't need to donate money. I think we got people for that. And Kevin, thanks again. No, I'm not saying your money's not appreciated. Trust me. And if you would like to donate, feel free. But one of the things you can do is just share the podcast and get the word out, you know, that we do have resources on our website. We like to have fun in recovery, and we're not ashamed of being in recovery. We're proud people, and we're good people. Yes, we are.
I will be the first to say how incredibly proud I am of you for all your hard work on getting all that paperwork in and getting that done. I know how I was there for when you were frustrated and struggling through it, but it all paid off, and there's so many doors that have opened for 217, and you made it possible.
Yeah.
So props to you, Corey.
That's pretty cool. And there were some doubters out there, and that's one thing that it got old. When I would talk about, oh, well, when we're a 501c3, you know, once we get the 501c3, and you could tell people doubted. Oh yeah, Corey, that sounds good. Yep. That sounds great. But I knew that I didn't have the money until January, and I knew I wouldn't have the money till January. I mean, I could have borrowed it from people. And a big props to NMRE too, Northern Michigan Regional Entity. They actually supported us big time with our becoming a 501c3. So big props to them. And we're going to work, I'm sure, with them quite a bit, as well as Southwest Michigan Behavioral Health. Got some ideas I want to throw their way. But yeah, the people that would hear me talk about the things that, you know, this is what we're going to do. And, you know, once we get the 501c3, once we're recognized, and yeah. And then, you know, I'm telling people like Anna, like, hey, you know, don't worry. This is what we're going to do. And this is what your job's going to be. And, you know, people are like, oh yeah, that sounds good, but this is a pipe dream, you know, and it wasn't. You know, I just knew that at the time, you know, I had to wait for the right time, and I had to make sure I had all my ducks in a row. I had to write a bunch of stuff. We had to have a board. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I asked Tyrone, how does that feel to be, you know, president of 501c3? And he was like,
man.
No, he didn't say that, but he was pretty pumped. And, yeah, Chris, and all those guys, I can't wait to get them on board full time. I know Chris's problem is he likes to work, like physical work. He likes to get outside. He likes to do work. And this is going to be a lot of work, but I think it's going to be different for Chris. And I hope he's up to the challenge, you know, and if he's not, that's fine too, but he's still got to go on tour with us.
Right. Yeah.
Because those are things we're doing.
Yeah,
you know,
I know. It's exciting. All these things are actually becoming reality now. Mm-hmm. So.
And that just goes to show you that anybody can do it. Like, you can do it. Mm-hmm. And there's been many obstacles in my way. There were many walls. There were many people. But I just kept going, and I'm not done yet. You know, when I say we're going to go on tour and we're going to talk at a venue, you know, like people would normally show up for a concert, but we're going to be there talking. We are going to do that, you know, and people can look at me and do the same thing that they did about the 501c3 or about the transportation service that we're going to start. Oh, okay. Yeah, Corey's on. Yeah. Keep thinking that. And then when you go to get your tickets that support us, then you'll be like, damn, he was right. He is doing it. And it just, you know, people tell me that I'm an inspiration to them, and that's cool, but they actually inspire me. You know, when they look to me and go, wow, like, that dude didn't let anybody hold him down. Like, he got told no so many times, and he just said, nope, not what I'm looking for. You know, I'm going to keep going until I get it. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm going to have a baby too.
Yeah.
Not out of my body though, but I'm just saying. Say hi to your dad again. Hey, Marney, Dad. No, no. So yeah, pretty excited about that. And again, if you're just like, man, I wanted to hear some talk about recovery, and I mean, there was some recovery talk in there because the old me, once they told me no, or once I got it in my mind that it was too hard, or if it was too much of a hassle, then I would have stopped.
You wouldn't even gotten that far.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have given up right away. I would have given up, never even done the first podcast. Yeah. If it wasn't for Ryan, not Ryan Beckman, but this other Ryan. I don't know how to say his last name. It starts with an S. It's Shower or something. But when he got out of treatment, he came to Nathan's house, and he just told me how disappointed he was in me. And I was like, what? What do you mean? He's like, I thought you would have had this podcast started. And he got out of treatment like a week or two after I did. So it wasn't like I had been out for months. I mean, I had pretty much just gotten out trying to get a job. And when he came to the house and said that, I was like, fine. And if he wouldn't have said that, I don't know. And it's the people that I've met along the way that inspire me too. And that really lit a fire to my ass. And I just said, who cares if it sucks? Who cares if it's only 15 minutes long? I think our first episodes are like 15 minutes because that's all Spreaker gave you at first, on the free plan. And then we asked for donations and people on Facebook, and we did a GoFundMe, and we needed just, equipment, and we needed another microphone. I just had one microphone at the time, and to get a website going and stuff like that. And of course, the first website, it was very economical, and I was dragging my feet on that. I'm like, what do I do? Where do I go? I don't know. And found this one that was app based, and you had to have an Apple product, but it was only $10 a month. And I thought, that we can swing, or I can swing. And, but the Spreaker, and then we bought a little bit more. It was like $80 a year. And then we ended up upgrading again. And then I think I just started paying for the upgrades after the first one. But, and then my mom loaned me the money to get the website, the one we have now. It was like, I don't know, it wasn't that much really, but it was like a couple $100, maybe a little less for the whole year. And the website that we have now, I think looks pretty kick-ass. I mean, there's some things, of course, I always want to change, but I could do it right now, change it, and then in 2 minutes would want to change it to something else. I never stop. That's why there's like 18,000 217 recovery logos. It's because I'm never satisfied. Not a bad thing. No, but it is. I keep some stuff the same. But I don't know. I'm always wanting to move forward and do things more and better. And I've always been like that, I guess. But with this, when I set my mind to it, that I actually did it. So this does cover recovery talk.
Yes.
This does. So, I want to give a shout out to Chris. We call him Critter Man. Give him a big shout out. He called me the other day, and you get those messages from people. And I think you were here. I think you were about to leave for work, or you're about to leave for something. You're always trying to leave because you can't stand me. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not true.
But you were going somewhere, and I got a message from him. He said, "Hey, do you have a minute?" And if you get a message from someone that is in recovery and early recovery, and they go, "Hey, do you have a minute?" Then you're like, "Oh, yeah, I have an hour." I'll listen to you. So at that time, I didn't have a minute, so I was like, give me a few minutes, and I'll holler back at you. And finally got a hold of him, and he's doing great. Chris is doing great. He's moved down to Nashville now, and he was on his way to Florida for a business trip or something, and he was telling me about how he had introduced 217 Recovery to the group of people in recovery down there in Nashville and on this trip to Florida, and said that the guys were listening to it and they were digging it, and he said that they were relating to some of the stories and some of the silliness that I was spewing. And so it's people like that, like Chris, like Kevin, that just really help spread the message of 217 Recovery. And it's not for everybody. Some people want to hear a doctor talk about it, and that's fine. That's cool. Yeah. I'm a doctor. Doctor of love. No, I know a few things, but yeah. So big props to him. And just, there's a lot of people I want to give props to and say hello to, but it's not Thursday, so that's when we do the shout outs. But I did just want to mention those guys real quick. Was on Brenda Lane's show. Brenda Lane is an old coworker, friend of mine from Benton Harbor days when I was in radio there. She has a show called Underpinnings Podcast with Brenda Lane, I think it's called. But yeah, I was on there and was talking about recovery and my journey a little bit. So if you want to listen to a little bit of that, look for her podcast.
Yeah, I listened to it. It was good. It was really good. Mm-hmm.
I talk a lot, though.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh. I think she said that at the end. She's like, hey, I don't know. I think it might have been off the air, but she was like, wow, that was easy. Thanks for talking so much. She's like, I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you had to keep me on course. It can be tough. But, yeah, pretty good little day, that's for sure.
It was a great day.
Yeah. Is there anything you would like to speak on? Or?
Not really. I had my little minor, low issue problem today with trying to put up some drapes. I bought some blackout drapes for my room so I can sleep during the day because I work during the night, and it did not work out as I had hoped. So, but in the whole scheme of things, total minor setback. He's laughing right now. But yeah, anyway, but little things like that,
Well, I'm not a drape expert, but I just have to share this just for the person listening right now. Like, okay, imagine what'd you say it was, like 63 is the height, or 59 is the height by 71 is the width of the window, which was not measured, by the way, before she bought the drapes.
No, I didn't want to get out of bed. I ordered them in bed, looking at the window, but
which I think she ordered, there were two of them. I think they might have been 25 wide by 250.
They barely covered the length of the window, but they were like twice as long.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
It's ridiculous.
The whole time I'm trying not to be mean and be like,
and I'm like, can we keep them there just until we return them, just until the work weekend's over? He's like, no.
I don't know.
But you can laugh about it. That's like a little tiny stupid mistake, a little frustration, but like I said, in the whole scheme of things, if that's the biggest problem that I have in my day, that's a freaking awesome day.
Yeah. And you got the most important part out of the way. You hung the
curtain rod.
Yeah. That's up. So
yep.
Now it's just switching curtains,
Yep. Exactly. Well, originally he just said, can't you just put bed sheets up?
I was joking. Yeah, I was like, it's low income.
Progress right there.
They used to that around here.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I love you.
Yeah, that's good times. You should have seen the drape. They're just on the floor, just hot mess.
Swimming. Yeah.
I wanted to say so bad, like, you did measure the window first, but I was right there with you when you bought them. I know you didn't measure the window first. I don't know what you were thinking, just eyeballing it. Like,
I don't know.
Well, now if we saved some person, male or female, some time, if they were
just
thinking about ordering drapes,
exactly.
Measure them first, measure the window, and order accordingly.
Yeah, and keep your bag that you bought them in.
Yes. See, maybe we did help one
somebody at Goodwill. Today. I hope they have really long windows. They need really, really long window drapes.
All right. Well, we're going to go look out the window without the drapes. And, yeah, thanks for listening. Check out our blogs. If you didn't read my blog from yesterday, it just kind of talks about how my day went there. And it's 217recovery.com. The blog I do is called Mondays. Jay does a blog called Spiritual Asylum. And, of course, Anna's Broken to Beautiful. Which I can't. You send her an email and say, hey, can you put your blog in the right spot? And then we'll see if she even listens to my podcast. So she says she does, but I don't think she does. Because she'll tell people go to 217.com. It's not our website, by the way. It's 217recovery.com. check out the blogs, listen to every single episode if you want. 166 hours of listening.
Links to the Zoom meetings.
Yeah, Zoom meetings, online meetings. There's links to them. And I shared on our Facebook page yesterday a list of NA meetings that are doing through the Zoom. So if you want to go back to our Facebook page and look through that, and it's confusing for some people because there's the Facebook page, which is our official Facebook page, and then there's the 217 Facebook group, and then there's the 217 Recovery family. So there's the 217 Recovery page, there's the 217 Recovery group, and then there's the 217 Recovery family. And I will tell you all about that and why we have so many of them on Thursday's episode.
Best bet is subscribe.
Yeah, just like them all.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. But yeah, go back onto the actual page, the 217 Recovery.
I'll clear that up for you.
Yeah, you'll see the link there for the NA meetings. And you can find them on your own, but I'm just saying, if you're lazy like me, you can go there. And if you want to hit a meeting in a different country, like I said, there's a list. And like Marney said earlier, do the math on the time. You can just Google what time is it in New Zealand. Like I know if you're at midnight, it's 4 o'clock their time. So 14 hours.
It's 5 hours ahead in Ireland than here.
And I think Paris might be 5 or 6.
Yeah, they're ahead too.
So, yeah, just Google what time it is there and then go hit your meetings, find the right day. And it's interesting, to hear other people talk. And, and you realize, wow, it's a big world, but it's a small world at the same time.
And you're when you're like the minority, you're like this new shiny new penny. You're like, oh my gosh, Michigan. We have someone here from Michigan. Yeah.
What did you put your name as when you went into the room?
No, I just put my name. My name.
Michigan Marney?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good night, and I'll talk to you Thursday, and I'll tell you why we have so many different Facebook pages. Not that you care, but at least I'll come through with that.
All right. Everybody have a good night.
All right. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. For more episodes plus bonus features, download the 217 Recovery app.